this is Jonathan Kraft with greenjoyment.com, and about a month and a half ago we made a video to show you how to make your own tomato planters using old milk jugs. Well, I wanted to do an update on that video because it's been about a month and a half and we now have tomatoes actually growing. So I'm going to show you those, and I'm going to come back with some of the things that we've learned in this process. But I want to show you the tomatoes first because we finally got some red tomatoes about a month and a half after we planted them. So if you'll take a look, here's our 3 tomato plants. Well, we've got 2 tomato plants and 1 pepper plant here. And then we've got our other tomato plant down here. If you'll look up here, though, you can see we've got 3 tomatoes already turning red. And it's the middle of July at this point. It's sort of towards the end of July, actually. And a couple of other tomatoes there that they all look really good. And definitely looking forward to having those. And so you can see those there. And then on this other plant, these tomatoes are just starting to come out a little bit here, but we've got quite a few tomatoes on this plant as well, just ready to be eaten when they get bigger. And then on our pepper plant here, we actually have 1 pepper growing. It's getting bigger and taking some time to grow here, but definitely they'll grow right out of the milk jugs. So that's really good to know. Here's one that actually fell in the middle of the night, and we're fortunate that it fell onto the patio as opposed to falling down into our neighbor's patio. But this one has some tomatoes that are definitely going to get bigger. Anyway, we're just kind of excited about being able to grow these tomatoes right out of these old plastic milk jugs. So I just want to share with you a couple of lessons of things that we've learned in the process here. If you take your old coffee grounds, if you drink coffee, I don't, but Carrie drinks coffee, and so we took the coffee grounds and we would just put them right into the top of the milk jugs, and it actually helps the tomatoes to grow, both I think the caffeine in there and also just having the organic material of the coffee actually helps the tomatoes to grow. One of the things we've learned, though, is that the tomatoes kind of get small, smaller than they would, and you have a smaller production because the actual size of the milk jug is smaller than what they would have normally. And so what we would recommend, if you do this in the future, if you watch our previous video and watch this one, is use a 5-gallon jug and drill a hole in the bottom of the 5-gallon jug, 5-gallon bucket, for painting or that kind of thing, if you can find an old plastic bucket. And just make sure that you secure that really well when you make it. But that will give you a better yield, basically, from your tomato plant because it will have more room to grow. You'll have to put more water into it too, of course, but that will help a lot. The other thing we've noticed is that as you are watering them, they start to find pathways right out of the dirt, and so you kind of have to tilt the planters as you're watering them so that the water soaks into the soil. So if you tilt the planter kind of to the side as you're watering it without dumping the water back out of the top, then it makes sure that the soil really gets saturated, which helps the plants to grow the tomatoes and the pepper. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. Just wanted to do this follow-up here, and we are looking forward to eating some yummy tomatoes. Thanks for visiting us at greenjoyment.com.